morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule to be with me for this 1 hour webinar, maybe less, a little bit less. My name is Magdi Hanna. As you can see from the opening slide, I am the chairman and CEO and actually the founder of IIST, the International Institute for Software Testing. Of course, you're gonna think that IIST is making a presentation about certifications, so most likely they are going to promote their own certification programs. Well, yes and no. My goal in this webinar is to shed some light on certifications in general and why do we even care to be certified? Should we be certified? The different types of certifications, and I certainly will also present the approach that IIST uses for certification, which is a unique approach. So after this webinar, I'm going to encourage you, if you intend to be certified, just to use all the criteria, all the information I'm presenting in this webinar to decide if you should be certified or not, and if you do, then if you should, then pick up the certification program that matches your professional goals. All right. As usual, during the webinar, if you have any question, please feel free to click on the questions tab on your control panel and just write your question, and I will answer questions as I go within the presentation. My apology this morning, I am kind of recovering from a scratchy throat, so if you hear some moments of silence in my presentation, that means that I am just muting my microphone for a second or two to clear my voice. Let's get started then. Here is my agenda. Here's what I hope to cover today. We're going to talk about why do we need to be certified? What's the purpose of that? I'll give you some facts I know based on my 35 years working with certifications. I've started working with different certification programs when they started in the very beginning, whether it is QI or anything else, or even the Project Management Institute. So I'll give you some facts I know for sure. Then I'm going to present my point of view about education-based certifications versus what we call exam-based certifications. There are two different approaches to certifications in general. All right, and so that you can see the difference, you can decide on which way you want to go. Now then, I'm going to give you a very nice about 7 different criteria by which you can evaluate any certification program so that you can decide if you should go with that certification or not. Then I will get into IIST certifications, what IIST does, and I am going to also present some roadmap to show you where you can start and where you can end if you want to pursue this route. I certainly will talk about the cost of achieving certifications, and also I will touch on recertifications. If you wish for me to speak about something else that's not in this agenda, please share this with me in the questions tab. Also, please feel free to ask any question anytime. And while I'm talking, I like challenges. I like people to object to what I am saying. If they disagree, feel free to do that. I never feel offended. Okay, I've been a public speaker for over 40 years, so some of you might have heard me somewhere else. But I've been speaking everywhere, and I only learn when people start challenging me in whatever I'm saying. All right. Let's start with a simple question here, and I'm going to ask you as my audience here today to try to help me write, if you click on the questions tab, and tell me why would you think about getting certified? What's your own purpose of getting certified? if you are. If you're still confused and you don't know if you should, then that's fine. But give me some input, please. I'm going to give you my own reasons for people to be certified, but I'd like to hear from you first, if possible. So go ahead and click on the questions tab and let me know. So, or in your opinion, what's the purpose of certifications? Okay, got some input here. Well, first answer is see that I am between jobs, and I'd like to find a good job. Well, good purpose. Okay, I am curious what is out there and what is the accredited legit. Okay, good question actually, Megan. Sorry, good answer. Um, Another answer, to have a generic evaluation or standard. By the way, I'm not asking you about what's the purpose of you to attend this webinar. I'm asking about the purpose of certifications, but that's okay. So to have a generic evaluation or standard by some neutral authority. Okay. I am also in between jobs and looking for the same. Okay. Reasonable answers, right? Reasonable responses. Anyone else would like to share? I'm sure many of you have other ideas. Don't be shy. As you can tell, I only say the names if it is a good response. If it is not, then I don't mention the name. All right. Well, let's move to the presentation because I don't want to waste your time here. Here is what I think would be legitimate reasons why you would think of certifications. I hope when you think about certification, you think of it as a way to gain knowledge that will help you do a better job. That's at least what I think of it. I mean, if you're not going to gain any more knowledge, so why waste your time and money to get certified? You want to gain more skills to enable you to take more opportunities and more roles and more responsibilities in your projects. Because you're doing one thing now, whatever it is. For example, you are a QA analyst, and you would hope sometime soon to become a test lead, or you are a QA lead now and you want to become a test manager, or you are a test manager now and you would like whether you'd like to be able to pursue another level of your job, whether it is in the same company or another company, to become an enterprise level quality manager or director of quality or whatever. So we want to always go higher in our career. So you want to be able to do that, and most importantly, you want to be able to do a good job for your projects. You want to contribute in a positive way to the success of your project. You want to be proud of what you did to make the project succeed. Now, let's face it, this bullet number 4 here, I know some of you would argue, say, well, we don't have any problem with the credibility. Well, I think if you are willing to believe me, over the years, I've had many situations speaking with companies and about how QA and testing is being treated within the company. Let's face it, we do have credibility issue as a professional, as a QA professional, as a test professional. Now, if you are a project manager, I don't know if you would have a problem in the credibility of the profession itself, but you may have a problem in your own credibility. But this bullet is more explicitly about the fact that people don't look very highly of QA and test professionals. I recall I was at a company and actually working with was a VP of software engineering, and he asked me a question. He said, how do I get my developers? I don't think he used the word respecting. How do I get my developers to give some attention to QA people and and uh, and account or consider their role in the project? So because I knew what's going on out there, and I said, well, start to start, I think you need to go and make sure that the pay scale for QA people is not lower than the development people, which I know it's a dream, because in any company, we know that developers get paid more than QA and testing. If you have any data that's different from that, please share with me. If you look at the salary ranges of the two professions, you'll see that, and you know it. So, and right immediately he said, I can't. I said, why can't you? So, well, you're telling me you personally do not believe that QA and testing in your organizations are not contributing with the same way that developers are. And he got defensive. He said, no. I know they're doing a good job. I know they're contributing, and I know they're working very hard. I said, okay, so problem solved. Why aren't you paying them the same way you pay developers? And he said, the problem is in my company, developers are engineers. They're software engineers. Testers are not. I said, what? What made developers software engineers and testers not? First of all, the term software engineer, the term engineer itself, many states had prohibited the use of it because not just anyone can call themselves engineer, because you've got to be graduating from an engineering school to become an engineer. Okay, and that's why some organizations were certifying people as software engineers, as test engineers, and the states where the issue this certifications got after them and said, no, you cannot do that. You have no authority to certify people as test engineers because you're not giving them the engineering discipline, and you are not an engineering school. So they changed the name of the certification. You might know which company I'm talking about. So we can't just call ourselves engineers like that. But I can say that software testing needs to be treated as an engineering discipline, but not. I cannot call myself an engineer. Well, I can, of course, because I actually graduated from engineering school. My undergraduate degree was in a petroleum engineering, but that's back in 45 years ago. All right. Now you can guess my age. Right. So done with that. You need to be able to demonstrate professionalism on the job. What does it mean? Am I implying that you are not a professional? You're not a professional person? No. You want to be able to participate in meetings, in project meetings, in department meetings, and speak intelligently in those meetings, and do not feel intimidated or threatened. That's really one of the essential things I focus on my classes. I want to give people very, very interesting that I was speaking yesterday with a manager where I'm going in a few weeks to do one of my courses there. And she requested this exactly. She said, I want my people to be confident to sit in a meeting and contribute to the meeting, not being silent, not being intimidated by what developers are saying. I want them to hear what developers are saying and be able to challenge it, discuss it without being intimidated. I said, this is exactly what I teach in my classes. And this is what certification would do for people. Not the certification per se, but it's the knowledge that comes with the certification. Okay? Well, that's why an explicit says this explicitly. So this is roughly what I believe the reasons why people would pursue certifications. All right, let's talk about some facts about certifications. I'm going to peek into the questions here to see if anyone has a question. No? Okay, good. Right, I think we can all agree on this. The value of any given certification program depends on how it helps you achieve your professional goals. If a certification does not achieve your professional goals or help you achieve your professional goals, then there is no reason to even pursue it. So that implies that you have to have your professional goals clear in your mind, and then start deciding which certification help me achieve that goal, whatever the goal is. Okay, you wanna pursue more opportunities in test management. Okay, then look at the certification program you're hoping to achieve and say, does this help me do that? Fact number 2. When we started those certifications back in 1999, I got some people who have experience, and they kind of got upset. And I remember a rough discussion with a test professional or a QA professional, and he said, with those certifications, you guys are trying to kind of put us down, because I am a guy who's been working for 20 years. I know what I am doing. I know my stuff, but I don't have any certification. So now you certify people, and then they start taking the jobs from me. I said, that's totally wrong. The experience you gained over the years is very valuable, but let's face it, you must continuously seek best practices, because when we get stuck in a company or two, no one says that this company has best practices. There is such a thing called the best practices in everything. That's why one of my courses, the 3-day course, is called Best Practices in Software Test Planning and Design. Another course is called Best Practices in Agile Testing. And another course called the Best Practices in Requirement Management. So you've got to seek best practices. Now, I know I sound like I'm trying to market our courses at IIST, but that's the truth. If you are taking a course from someone and he or she is not able to claim that they are teaching you best practices, then don't bother. Don't take the course. Not only that, they have to also demonstrate in their course outline and the course description why they believe what they're teaching is actually best practices. Because not because someone says, I'm teaching you best practices, then that's it. No, they have to have a way to prove this to you. So you always have to seek best practices. And when you seek best practices, you see this from anywhere. You don't even have to be certified. Okay? You don't have to be certified, but you got to find people who can teach you best practices in certain things. And you can talk about best practices in test management, best practices in requirement management, best practices in project management, best practices in testing. You can even talk about best practices in small areas like in regression testing, best practices in test execution, best practices in test design or test planning, any of that. All right. So keep that in mind, please. If you've been on the job, if you've been working for a number of years and you feel you gain some experience, that's great. And that has its own value. But best practices are always important. Fact number 3. I don't know about you, but I've been an educator all my life. Okay. Since I got my master's in computer science and my PhD in computer science, I worked as a professor at university. I then resigned. Then I started the institute. I believe in education. I strongly believe in education. And if you think about it, every field out there have found themselves a way to teach, to learn things. Okay, the electrician that comes and work in your house, he or she has taken courses to understand the discipline of their field. Okay. Now, there are some professions that do not care about education, but we are in a field. Imagine software testing and software quality assurance are very critical field, very critical. I mean, I got the idea to establish and found the institute back in 1999 when I was doing lots of consulting in places that I hate to mention the names, but places that build software that is very critical to our lives. Imagine when I speak with the people who test the aircrafts that you use every once in a while to travel. And at the time I was traveling almost every week. And I said, my God, do I want to even travel anymore? Do I want to travel anymore? I mean, those aircrafts that are made by that company, I now know how they test it. Do I trust that? No. I'm using a medical device now. And the medical device has some software. How do I know it has been tested? Well, guess what? I can tell you that there are things about that device that was not tested, let alone all other kind of software that I can tell you 100% that were not tested very well. So that's why education is critical to create and advance a profession. We cannot assume that, we cannot claim that we are QA professionals or tester professionals or project management professionals or anything without receiving education. All right, factor number 5, if you think you're going to take a certification, that's a fact I know for sure. And if you have taken one of those certifications that gives you the opportunity, not require you, does not require you, but gives you the opportunity to attend what's called an exam preparation course. They call them exam preps. Okay. I'm going to tell you this based on deep experience. That's why my advisory board, myself, and everyone else at the institute, we totally refuse the concept of exam-based certifications. Those prep courses that are designed for certifications, 100%, they mainly focus on passing the exam. Imagine I'm preparing you to pass an exam. So what am I doing? I'm teaching you the things that are going to be in the exam. All right, I'm saying this clearly, and I'd like to get anyone who is teaching some of those courses to challenge me on that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the people who are teaching some preparation courses for certifications are very intelligent and very experienced people, and I know them very well. And they are capable of teaching you good stuff. And they have written books and they know their stuff very well. But when they teach a prep course, they are bound by what the exam is going to be about. They're bound by what you must know in order to pass the exam. That part, I don't care. I do remember when I was in college in undergrad, as I told you, I had a degree in petroleum engineering. One of the courses I took, I believe it was organic chemistry. And the professor who taught me that course, my God, he's just hurt us big times. Because he would come in the beginning of the semester and he gave us over 700 questions. And he said, here are the questions I'm gonna pick up like 10, 15 of those 700 questions. If you know how to answer those, then you pass my exam and you get an A. Has he taught us anything in the course? No. Have I learned anything in organic chemistry? No. I got an A in the course, but I did not learn anything. So that's very important. If you take a course, whether it is an exam prep course or otherwise, make sure you learn. And the trouble is, as I said, all prep courses focus on passing the exam. I've seen some people even advertising their courses and saying, if you take our course, or the pass rating of our course participants is 97%. Do I care? Of course I care. I want to be certified. So if they tell me, if I take their course and I'm one of those 97% who are going to pass the exam, of course people rush to take that, and those people are able to pump their price up because their passing rate is high. I'm not accusing anyone, and I'm not just saying anything. This is true, 100%. Okay, so forget about prep courses. Fact number 6, I'm sure you would agree 100% with that. Passing an exam by itself does not improve your skills. You ask yourself after you pass the exam, have I improved anything? Am I a different person after I pass the certification exam? And the answer is no. Does not improve the quality of the software you deliver. It does not do anything except it gives you some credential that you passed the exam and you now can be certified. That's it. Please, if you disagree with me on this, of course, every once in a while I get some people saying, oh, but in order to pass the exam, I have to study. Of course, but what do you study? You study the things that are going to be in the exam. It's like this professor who gave us 700 questions. You focus on the topics that are in the exam, and the question is, are these topics in the exam, is it what you need in order to improve the quality of the software you release? I don't know. Based on me looking at what's called the body of knowledge of some of those certifications, and there are two, of course, everyone knows which certifications I'm referring to. There are 2 other certifications out there. I'm sorry, if I focus on software quality and testing, there might be 3. But I've looked at the body of knowledge. The 3rd one I don't really count because it's not in the United States. It's from a small company that's even known at all. But there are 2 other certifications that are known, and I've seen the body of knowledge. And I have been asked to teach for them. I said, are you crazy? What am I going to teach? This is nothing to teach. I would be embarrassed to stand and teach you that stuff. Okay, enough from this. So, passing an exam does not improve your skills, does not make you a better professional. Let's talk about the 2 main approaches to certifications for quality assurance and testing. Basically, there are 2 of them. There's exam-based, there's education-based. Exam-based are the certification you've been hearing from QI. QI has existed out there for a long time. I have known QAI and I've worked with QAI long time before 1999 when I founded the institute. IIST came long time after the International Institute for Software Testing. The American Society for Quality is the same thing. Now, of course, those organizations vary in their level, of course, of courses and the difficulty of their courses. I looked at the body of knowledge of ASQ for the quality engineer. My advisory board looked at it because at the time we were building the body of knowledge for the certified software quality manager, we had to look at the body of knowledge of ASQ to see if there is any overlap. And the intent was, if ASQ is already doing something similar, then we should not reinvent the wheel. And the advisory board found out that no, the program or the certification by ASQ is not anything like what we are doing in the certified software quality manager. So I looked at the body of knowledge, okay, and I'm not gonna say anything about those, but those, the body of knowledge is written in a way that if you know this stuff, you pass the exam. Okay, and I don't need to tell you how these body of knowledges have been developed. Okay, actually, I was part of a body of knowledge committee to be developed by IIIE and ACM, two very reputable organizations. And the body of knowledge was for software engineering. They invited me to be part of that committee because of my PhD in software engineering. I attended 2 meetings and I got out of there. I didn't want to continue because I found that what's going to be in the body of knowledge is stuff that software engineers do not care about. The only people who care about are the professors and the PhDs people who are in that committee. And I kept screaming. I said, guys, I work in industry. I work with companies every day. This is not going to be useful. And no one listened, so I got out of there. Okay, that's exam-based. They built a body of knowledge. You read the body of knowledge. You understand the body of knowledge. You may take a course, a prep course, to prepare you to take the exam, and then you take the exam. All right. Education-based certification. When I founded IIST in 1999, again, at the time, actually, I was still a professor at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. And believe it or not, my initial intent was to build this program inside the university. Okay, I wanted the university to give a certification in software testing because I was teaching a 14-week course on quality assurance. And it was one of the courses required for to get a master's degree in software engineering. And I was not happy about the level of details I'm getting through because I have only 14 weeks to go through everything that must be taught in quality assurance. And that was not enough. So I came up with the idea to build not a degree, not a course, but a certification program that's based on education. I went through all the logistics and it didn't work out. You know, universities are different. So that's when I took a year off from school, and then I took a second year off. I established the institute. I said to myself, I'm very passionate about this. I know how to do this. I was going to build it in the university, but I couldn't. I'm going to build it as an outside, as a private entity. So built the International Institute for Software Testing in 1999. It took off very well. Then I could not go back to my job at school. I extended my leave for another year. Then I resigned. This is a story that I don't know if you care about or not. The point is, my goal was always education. One more time, I'm very passionate about education. I'm very passionate about teaching people how to do their job right. Now, that implied by itself that we're saying that people at the time do not know how to do their job right. And I remember getting some emails from people. He said, who are you? Do you think you're going to educate people to do their job right? Oh, well, I've done it right. I formed an advisory board. We developed body of knowledge one after another, and we developed the courses and all this. That the main principle is that we need to help people do a better job. In fact, I'm sorry to give you all that history. In fact, I got a phone call around that time from one of those companies that do certification-based, exam-based certifications. And because I got the call because they've known me very well and I'm working with them. So I was actually supposed to speak at one of their conferences. And the gentleman said, Magdi, what's going on? I saw the press release. Are you going to compete with us? I said, no. You certify people by giving them an exam. We're not doing that. We're teaching people. We are after the people who are interested in learning methods and techniques to help them do a better job. We're not after people who are simply wanting to be certified. And at the time, believe it or not, that organization was not even giving an exam. Was asking you to submit a dossier that has summary of the projects you worked on, and they were just certifying you based on that. And said, no. You are certifying people who already supposedly know how to do their job, and you're certifying them. We're okay with that. I'm not touching this area at all. We are after people who care to learn ways to improve the way they do their job and improve the quality of software. Otherwise, our software profession is going to degrade over the years. So we are establishing a school, not a certification body. Got that? So that's education-based. Now, since I spoke about this, I know one of the questions or one of the responses I got in the beginning of the webinar today, someone said accreditation. Let me tell you this. There is no accreditation for professional certifications, okay? So the term accreditation is valid only when you're speaking about schools, colleges, and universities. Colleges and universities that issue degrees must be accredited by some accreditation body. And there is all kinds of accreditation bodies out there on all levels. Those accreditation bodies do not have anything to do with professional certifications. Who accredits those professional certification programs? People asked me this question. I say, the industry accredit it. If companies start respecting people who are certified by a given program, then the industry accredited that certification. We know companies, or at least some companies, like to hire people, project managers who are certified by the PMI, the Project Management Institute. Now, can we say that the certification from PMI is accredited? No, wrong. There is no such a thing. But PMI has created a certification program that companies respect and the companies can value, because they can value the knowledge gained throughout the certification program. So that's it about accreditation. So as far as I know, IIST is accredited by the industry, not by any accreditation body. No other ISTQB, QI, ACQ is not accredited by anybody. American Society for Quality, they created their own certification. You may dispute it. You may challenge it. You can challenge any certification, including the certification by IIST. Now, I hope this does not come as a surprise to some of you. There is no accreditation. So don't waste your time looking for an accredited certification program. Please give me your comment or your questions if you have any. Excuse me. Right. So when you're taking the certification, the education-based certification from IIST, you're actually taking courses exactly like, remember, I came from a college or a university background. I also taught in the master level, and it helped me that in the master software engineering program where I was teaching, people there were not students. They were not undergraduate who finished their degree and coming now to do a master's degree. No, they were actually professionals. I had in my classes project managers, lead developers, lead QA, test managers. I've had all kinds of titles in my courses at the University of St. Thomas. By the way, this is an amazing program. If you are around the area in the Twin Cities and you're seeking a good program in software engineering, absolutely. I left the program over 22 years ago, but I still believe that it is one of the strongest master of software engineering programs around the country. And as I said, people in this program were professionals having a job during the day, coming to take the courses in the evening and weekends. So those are the kind of people I was dealing with. So I knew what these people want. I knew what helps those people. And of course, even when I was teaching my courses in that program, I had to learn what they want. It was a challenge for me in the beginning, right? Because I said, how am I going to stand there in front of project managers and test leads and test managers and directors and teach them stuff they can value? Those people have experience. They may not have experience more than me, but I better have experience much more than them in order to be able to teach them. So I learned over the years. I've done a lot of consulting. The good news is that during that teaching, during that program, they actually encourage you to do a lot of consulting. So I was actually during the day going around doing a lot of consulting with companies, and in the evening I'm teaching. And when I started to get very busy with consulting, I said, okay, and then I need to resign because I don't. So I've done consulting like a ton of consulting. So that's where I learned what those companies wanted. And that's how, and by the way, the advisory board, if you look at them in our website, they are all consultants and the directors, and they're working in companies. I don't have one single person in the advisory board who's simply a PhD in something and he's not working in the industry. All of them must be in the industry. All the instructors are like that. Okay, enough bragging about what we do. How to evaluate a certification program? Look at the body of knowledge. Okay, is this going to help you? And I said this already. Is it going to help you achieve your professional goals or not? You got to get into the body of knowledge. Look at the topics being taught. Okay, how much you're going to learn? That's very important. How would your current employer or future employer value this information? Do you think they care? Because if they don't, I mean, if your goal is to always go higher in your position or your company, or go find a better job in another company, then that would be an essential thing. Is that body of knowledge something that your current employer or your future employer would care about or would value? No, I put a lot of weight in this last bullet. Who is going to teach you if you're going to take courses? Because remember, as I said, exam-based certifications do not require you to take any courses. Do not. You might take a prep course. You be very careful. You be very careful when you think about taking certification that allows you to take a prep course. Who the heck is going to teach you? How much experience does this person have? How much testing and quality assurance did he do? I've seen people teaching those prep courses that have been written by someone else, and they hire people who probably have been in software but have not held one single position in test management or quality management or quality leads or anything. And they bring them in to teach the courses. They think that, excuse me, they think that the PowerPoint presentation is going to do it. Terrible, terrible. PowerPoint presentation is just a way to kind of put the highlights of what we're going to be talking about. But what you're hearing from the instructor is his or her experience. It counts. Experience counts. How am I going to relate the material I am teaching you to project after project after project that I worked on? How am I going to teach you the stuff that works and avoid to teach you the stuff that does not work? Okay, very important. And as I told you, some of those instructors that I know teaching prep courses, they have great experience, but as I said, they're always bound by the body of knowledge and the exam that you must pass. Because if they don't, guess what? Half of the people taking their courses are not going to pass the exam. Then the reputation in the prep course field is going to go down, and no one's going to take their courses anymore. So they have, if they can find sample questions are an important thing in those prep courses. Sample questions. Everyone is looking for sample questions. We get those funny emails all the time from people in other countries who are used to sample questions, and when they start looking into certifications from IIST, they say, oh, do you give any sample questions as part of the course? We laugh. If we give you sample questions as part of the course, we're defeating the whole purpose of education. We're asking you to focus on those sample questions. So yeah, please look into how practical those topics being taught in a prep course. Most importantly, is this prep course solid material that you must take as is? What if there is some stuff in that prep course you don't want to take? Do you have the flexibility to choose? Remember when you went to college years ago? I don't know if it is years ago for you. Maybe some of you just graduated a few years ago. When you went to college to get a degree, what happened? They give you some core courses and some elective courses. Okay, and they give you freedom to choose courses that you believe are going to form your professional goals. So if colleges are doing this, why can't we as certification bodies do that? Why are we dictating? Why should we dictate what you must learn? Absolutely wrong. Dictating what you must learn is wrong, because no one on earth can determine for you what is good for you in your projects and your companies and the way you want to do your job. That's why the advisory board of IIST was very careful in all certifications, especially the higher level ones, okay, that gives you some freedom to choose courses. Okay, we don't dictate all the courses. We dictate certain courses that you must take, but then we allow you to choose whatever courses you feel are important for your career and your professional goals. Okay, I think I'm repeating myself here. So now let's move into IIST certifications. As I said, it was founded back in 1999 and developed throughout the years. I mean, the first level of certifications was one certification. I remember in 1999, we had like 5 courses that are supporting the first level of certification. As of today, IIST has 12 certifications and it has over 100 courses supporting those 12 certifications. I think the one thing I did right is I formed the advisory board from experts and practitioners around the world who understood the stuff, who worked, I mean, you look at their names, they're working in the field for so many years. I don't have anyone in the advisory board, as I said, who just got a PhD in computer science or software and is not working anywhere or working for a university. All of them have been test manager, quality managers, project managers for over 30 and 40 years. Okay. Now I'm implying the age of some of them. Yeah, I'm going to say probably minimum of not 20 years, minimum of 30 years. I'm just trying to remember the members of my advisory board here. All of them, minimum of 30 years of experience. Okay, so, and the advisory board worked very hard to build those body of knowledges. And the driving principle in this development process is every topic must be practical and can be used immediately after you learn it to improve the way you do your job in your project. We always say this,
If it is not practical, then it does not belong there. It does not belong to the body of knowledge. Now, I'm sure some of you would take everything I'm saying as a sales pitch for IIST. But I have to tell you, you came to understand from me the different approaches. And I hope I'm being very fair in everything I said about those exam-based certifications from other organizations. And I wish any one of those organizations can come out and make a webinar like this to explain or to say something different. I'm happy to receive that. I'm happy to listen. Everything I am saying, honest to God, is 100% true. Everyone knows that. Okay? And people who are working on those exam-based certifications, they know I am 100% right. And that's why, after they were established, years, as I said, years after IIST was established, they wanted to take IIST under the umbrella of exam-based. I said, guys, you are not getting it. We have two different approaches to certifications. And I remember the discussion. And I said, no, IIST will remain to be education-based. I am not going to give that up for any reason, even for money. And they said that. They said, we will generate a lot of revenue. IIST can be part of that. I said, enjoy the revenue. Enjoy the revenue. We don't care. This does not match my philosophies. Does not match what I believe in. And not only me, but all members of the advisory board. We are not into certifying people and just by passing an exam. It's an approach. I'm not going to criticize it much anymore, but just don't ask me to wipe out. And I did. I made a proposal. I said, you know what? I am happy to bring IIST under your umbrella if you agree that you will provide two different types of certifications: exam-based certifications and education-based certifications. And the education-based approach and philosophy remain intact. And they did not like that. No. It's all going to be one thing. I said, no, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. We're not part of that. Okay. Here is the roadmap for the IIST certifications. Okay. The first level of certification, we try to do like these areas to show you direction. The first level here of certification is the Certified Software Tester Professional Associate level. This is the foundation of everything. You must always start there. The only time you do not have to start there is if you are pursuing the Certified Software Quality Manager, but this is a very highly advanced level of certification, but that requires 5 years of experience in software quality management. So that's the only time you don't have to go through this. Would not be fair if you've been more than 5 years in quality management and we ask you to come here. Now, once you finish this, you can see you can go any direction you want. You can go to the practitioner level and then the master level of the same certification: Certified Software Tester Professional, practitioner level, and master level. I'm going to tell you in a little bit how many courses each one of those require. But for now, let's just talk about the map. I didn't want to put the number of courses there not to confuse you. All right. Then you can also, if you finish this, the CSTP associate level, then you can go and move into the Agile direction. And we have 2 levels of Agile certification: Certified Agile Software Tester Professional, practitioner level, and master level. Or you can go and do something else in test automation. And we have 2 levels of test automation certifications: the Certified Software Test Automation Specialist and the Architect. There's 2 different certifications. So these are levels of certifications. Once you finish the associate level, you can go to the test lead test management route, and you get a certified test lead, certified test manager practitioner level, and master level. And again, one more time, they are prerequisites of each one. You cannot go directly and do your certified test manager master level. You got to get the practitioner level first, and in order to do this, you got to get the certified test lead. Okay, and this mobile certification does not have multiple levels, but again, it requires that you finish this first. Certified Mobile Software Tester Professional. Okay, and as I said, this is the only level that does not require any certification as a prerequisite, but it requires 5 courses. Now let's talk about the course. I carefully wrote this title here. The cost of what? Not the cost of certification, because we get those questions very often. Says, how much does the certification cost? We say the certification does not cost anything. You're not paying for the certification. You're paying for the training you receive for the certification. It's like going to the college or the university. Says, how much does your degree cost? How much an undergrad, a Bachelor of Science cost? Well, you're not really asking the right question. You're saying how much the tuition to take the courses that will enable you to pursue that degree. Same here. Okay. These are the certifications again. I just listed them. Now, keep in mind that this is one course that if we do it in person, it's a 3-day course, but it is available online as a self-paced for $995. Okay. Now, as I said, after you do this, you achieve this, then you can go and achieve this, and that requires an additional 4 courses. Now, I already explained that. When this says this requires 3 courses, it doesn't mean that you can go and take 3 courses and become a certified software test professional master level. No, it requires 3 courses after those 4 courses and after this 1 course. When it says 1 course here, it's 1 course at 3 days. These are 4 courses that are 4 days. These are 3 courses that are 3 days. So the total number of days here to achieve the master level is 10 days of training. When we do this in person, it's a total of 10 days of training. Okay? And so on. The Agile certification. The Certified Agile Software Tester Professional Practitioner level, 3 days of training. Each course is 325. Okay, so as you can see, the 975 is there because there's 3 days, 3 courses. Each course is 325. Okay, the master level is here. This is the mobile certification. Okay, that requires 4 courses. Each course is 325, and so on. All right, the Certified Software Test Lead, 4 courses. Each course is 325, and so on. Recertification, of course. Some people get annoyed by recertification. There is no certification out there, even the exam-based certifications that's good for life. No such a thing. You have to continue your professional development over the years. So the IIST Advisory Board suggested that over a period of 3 years, you need to take certain number of courses to recertify or to renew your certification. But the most important thing here that I put in boldface, education does not need to be provided by IIST. You can take the courses any way you want. And the reason the advisory board did that, because we do not want to be misunderstood. We don't want anyone to think that we just want to generate more revenue. No, we don't. We want to certify, we want to give you the education you need, and we want you to be educated. I mean, you could read the requirements for this, the recertification for each certification on the website. There are minimal requirements, like for example, to recertify your test management certification, the courses you take from IIST or from anywhere else has to be in test management. Doesn't matter what they are. I mean, of course, we approve courses that are in some weird and wild fields. If people say, yes, I need this for my job, okay, it's fine. You decide. So not like you take the exam again or anything like that. No. All right, that's recertification. All the details are on the website, by the way. My final word of wisdom: don't just get certified. Get the training you need to succeed in your job. That's the goal. Okay? All the details are available on the
IIST website. Thank you so much for being with me in this webinar. I hope I did not overdo it by promoting the IIST certifications. I hope you feel I've been very fair to other certifications. I tried to make it as informative as possible, but I could not avoid it. I cannot hide my passion. Some people tell me that my passion to the software testing profession is contagious. So hopefully you become as passionate as I am in this field. All right. Thank you for being with me.